Welcome back to Health Now. Recently, Dr. Ids went viral defending oatmeal by reading off its nutrition label and claiming it's a superfood. But today I'm going to tell you why reading a label on a box doesn't tell you what your body is actually absorbing. We are going to debunk the studies he flashes on screen, why his attacks on carnivore make zero sense, and I'll explain why comparing a bowl of grain paste to a fatty cut of meat is a complete metabolic joke. Let's get into it. Dr. Itz kicks off his video by listing an impressive nutritional profile for a cup of oats.
And this is your reminder that oatmeal can actually taste good. Most people think oatmeal is just this bland, healthy food.
It is bland because it's completely void of nutrients.
Well, that's completely false. 1 cup of oats contains 10 grams of protein, 8 grams of fiber, 5 grams of mostly unsaturated fat, along with 126% of your daily manganese requirements, 42% of your selenium, 35% copper, 31% vitamin B1, 26% magnesium and phosphorus, 19% of your iron, along with several other micronutrients at 5 to 10%.
10 grams of protein and high percentages of manganese, copper, magnesium and iron. On paper that looks great, but here on Healthier Now, we don't eat paper. We deal with human biology. What Dr. Itz is quoting is absolute nutritional content, not the bioavailable nutritional content. Oats contain a compound called phytic acid, a known anti-nutrient. Phytic acid binds to minerals like iron, zinc, magnesium and calcium in your digestive tract, severely limiting how much your body can actually use of these nutrients. He boasts about iron in oats, but that's non-heme iron, which doesn't convert well in the body into the preformed iron, which is heme iron, which can be found in animal foods. Okay, so you don't get the iron. Okay, so if it says there's this much iron in oats, that's not all bioavailable because not the preformed version of iron. The heme iron in red meat is highly bioavailable. Okay, he boasts about the protein in oats, but that's incomplete protein. The protein in red meat is complete. Then he tries to drop the mic by showing studies like meta-analysis showing oats improve blood glucose and lower inflammation. Okay, so he starts citing them on screen.
Oh, not to mention the dozens of meta-analyses on literally hundreds of studies that shows that regular oatmeal consumption leads to better health markers and outcomes, including improved blood glucose control, lower blood pressure, body weight, body fat, total cholesterol, LDL, inflammatory markers, and the risk of several chronic diseases.
But when you actually read those studies, okay, that he flashed on the screen quickly, a different picture emerges. Take the diabetes study, for example, that he shows. So it simply shows that feeding diabetics a specific soluble fiber from oats slows down the absorption of the carbohydrates. But they shouldn't be eating carbohydrates in the first place. Like basically, why is anyone eating carbohydrates when they're intolerant to them in the first place, okay? When they're having all these problems in the first place with diabetes. So it just shows that slows it down. Basically, if you're going to eat sugar, then have it with fiber because that's going to slow it down. But you shouldn't need to be eating fiber and sugar in the first place. Going from a terrible sugar that spikes your blood sugar instantly to a less terrible carbohydrate that stretches the spike over a couple of hours doesn't make oats optimal. He also cites huge epidemiological reviews claiming plant foods improve longevity. Like, this is a classic healthy user bias, and because we've been told over the last 50 years that oats are superfood, so the person eating plain oats every morning is most likely the person that's also not smoking, getting good sleep, getting exercise, etc. So Dr. Ids clearly has a bias against red meat and the love of grains. But in another video where he tries to debunk a carnivore diet, his logic falls completely apart.
Guys, the carnivore diet is fantastic, and there are so many testimonials of people that have experienced tremendous benefits on it, like this guy, Steak and Butter Gal, and so on. So Dr. Ids, why do you speak negatively about the carnivore diet? Well, that's because testimonials mean very little. Time school. You have to remember that social media often amplifies the loudest, craziest voices, and our feeds are cultivated according to what we like. So for those that only see positive testimonials on the carnivore diet, for the sake of balance, let me share with you some negative ones too, straight from the carnivore cringe page. Anyone else seen a rise in depression after going carnivore? Mine has increased exponentially. I'm experiencing low strength, early muscle fatigue, joint pain in elbows, shoulders and wrists, terrible DOMs and muscle recovery, and I never experienced any of this when I was on a standard American diet.
Did you catch what he just did? He started by saying that testimonials are completely useless, okay? And aren't even considered evidence. Then he spends the next minute reading anonymous Reddit comments from a vegan page called Carnivore Cringe to try and prove the diet is dangerous. You can't say that anecdotes are useless and then try to weaponize them when they suit your narrative. And let's look at the symptoms he's fear-mongering about, okay? So, fatigue and joint pain. Anyone who knows human metabolism will know that this is just the transition phase or the keto flu, okay? When you drop carbs, your insulin drops and your kidneys flush out excess water and sodium. If you don't replenish electrolytes, you will cramp. Also, when you stop eating plants that have like oxalates in them, okay, you get a thing called like oxalate dumping. You might get that, okay? You might experience that. Your body starts dumping the ones it had stored in its joints, causing temporary achiness. This isn't the diet failing. This is the body detoxing from several years of eating rubbish. But this brings me to the best part of his oatmeal video. To defend his bowl of grain paste, Dr. Itz tries to claim that meat is naturally unpalatable, claiming that an unseasoned chicken breast tastes like cardboard.
Really, oatmeal's only as good as the artist, and there are so many ways to make it.
If you have to do so much to a food to make it palatable, add sugar, add chocolate, 15 million different toppings, then maybe you shouldn't eat it.
Now that's just terrible logic. I'm pretty sure most sane people season their chicken, steak, vegetables with multiple herbs, spices, salt, pepper, oils, butter and whatever else. Does that mean you shouldn't eat it simply because people want their food to taste nicer? Also, have you ever eaten a plain chicken breast? I'm sorry, but that literally tastes like cardboard. So based on this guy's logic, you probably shouldn't eat it. Good job.
For once I agree with him. Lean, skinless, boiled chicken breast does taste like cardboard. But this is exactly what happens when you follow mainstream low-fat nutrition advice and strip away the nutrition you get from eating the fat of the animal. Because basically you need to use the fat of the animal as well, okay? Because if you're going to eat very lean meat, you're going to run into stuff like rabbit starvation that we talked about before. It's going to taste nicer if you eat the skin on it, on the meat. Or if you have ruminant meat, okay, fatty ruminant meat, or add fat to the meat. So he's trying to debunk this by saying, oh, that doesn't taste nice at lean, boiled chicken breast. But that's not what most people eat on a carnivore diet. They either eat, like, if they're going to have chicken, which is a monogastric animal anyway, but if you're going to have chicken, then eat it with the skin on, or add fat to it, and try to get a good quality one as well. Or have ruminant meat, which is going to be fattier, and people don't usually season that as much either, because that naturally tastes nice and doesn't taste like cardboard. When you eat chicken, how it was meant to be eaten, okay? When you actually have the skin left on it, you're getting a massive dose of highly satiating animal fats. Fat is the biological driver of fullness, okay? And it's going to taste a lot better then as well. Proper piece of meat, okay? Here's the key thing. A proper piece of meat with its natural fat left on it doesn't need to be covered and smeared with sugary syrups. And that's the thing. So it's palatable without these syrups and these sauces, etc. If you're going to leave the fat intact, which is what it's meant to be left. Like, mainstream nutritionists are now telling people to eat an egg right before they eat their morning oatmeal to blunt the sugar spike. What they call a breakfast dessert hack. But what they're doing is illogical, okay? It's illogical because if you have an issue handling sugar, you don't try to fix it by having like fat and protein before it. Because you're still going to get the sugar spike anyway. maybe just to a little bit lesser of a degree. But what you should really do is just cut the sugar out completely and focus on the nutrient-dense foods like fatty meat and eggs. So if the science is so settled on oatmeal, okay, or porridge as we call it here in Ireland, then I challenge anyone to put on a continuous glucose monitor one day after eating a breakfast of like oatmeal, and then the following day put it on again and have a ribeye instead of the oatmeal, okay? So oatmeal one day, the porridge one day, and then red fatty meat, like a ribeye, the following day. And then measure it those 2 days. Tell me which one sends your blood sugar on a roller coaster, okay? And which one keeps it pretty flat lined. Tell me which one leaves you hungry and crashing 2 hours later, and which one leaves you full, fueled and satiated until dinner time. They want you eating cheap, highly processed grains because it's profitable, not because it's optimal. But here on Healthier Now, we know better. We know that real health comes from eating real nutrient-dense food. And that's gotten from like bioavailable animal nutrition. If you are tired of mainstream nutrition advice telling you to eat flavourless grain paste instead of eating fatty, nutrient-dense meat, then hit the subscribe button. Drop a steak emoji in the comments below if you take a ribeye or a crispy chicken skin over a bowl of oatmeal any day of the week, and hit the likes button for more videos like this. Stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.